When Mitt Romney ran for president back in 2012,
I'm Mitt Romney. I believe in America, and I'm running for president of the United States.
the size of his IRA came under scrutiny. Of his estimated $250 million net worth, roughly $100 million is said to be in his personal individual retirement account. In this video, I share how you can build an IRA worth way more than you ever thought possible. I'll take you through the scenarios of 3 different investors who took 3 different approaches and got 3 very different results. Throughout, you'll learn 3 key factors for building a multi-million-dollar IRA, along with a couple of ideas for how you can grow one to be much larger than you may have ever thought possible. Finally, I'll finish off by showing you how much each age group would need to invest in order to have a $1 million Roth IRA. Coming up. Welcome back. My name is Steven Spicer, and it's my goal to help you invest smarter and build a stable lifetime income. Let's get right into it. We've got 3 different investors that all started at the same time, at age 25, and all had goals of retiring at age 65. They each took some serious action toward their goals, but got far different results, even though they all averaged the same 7% annualized return in the market. Let me introduce Ethan, Ben, and Joe. Ethan was ambitious and enjoyed learning. So after he got his bachelor's degree, he went to grad school for engineering so that he could get opportunities in his career that he otherwise wouldn't. The problem with Ethan was that he had more student loan debt, which delayed some of his financial goals. He was also surrounded by coworkers making and spending a lot of money and got caught up in keeping up with others in his field for several years. It wasn't until age 35 that Ethan realized that he needed to start taking investing for retirement seriously. He barely fit within the government's income parameters for qualifying for Roth IRA contributions, but made sure to take full advantage of the time that he had all the way until retirement by maxing out his Roth IRA all the way up until age 65. Ethan had contributed $6,000 a year, $500 a month into his Roth IRA for 30 straight years, a total of $180,000, and was rewarded with a $609,985.50 retirement account at age 65. Again, that's assuming the 7% annualized return. At that point, he hoped it would be enough to just get by, assuming the markets didn't dip, that Social Security wouldn't fail, and, well, that he wouldn't live too long. He realized that if he still wanted to retire at 65, that he may have to make some life changes to match the amount of income he could reasonably take out without running out of money. Ben took the exact opposite approach to what his friend Ethan did. After graduating college, Ben returned home to live with his mom and dad so that he could stash away as much cash as he could afford to. He knew the power of investing while he was young and was eager to build wealth. Even though he was one of the most successful salespeople in the office for his age, Ben drove around in a beat-up car and prided himself on his frugality. He maxed out his Roth IRA contributions every single year. And from age 25 to 35, Ben didn't miss a beat. He diligently put in his $6,000 each year until Ben's heart made him chase a woman that he had previously only viewed as a friend. He focused less on work and spent more money on dates and traveling, sacrificing his commitment to his investments. After settling down and starting a family, Ben never got back to prioritizing his Roth IRA contributions. When he turned 65, he wanted to retire but was hesitant and embarrassed to look at the mere $60,000 that he had invested over the course of the 10 years when he was younger. Ben was pleasantly surprised to see that his Roth IRA had actually grown to more than his buddy Ethan's. Ben had $702,421.20. Nearly $100,000 more, despite contributing $120,000 less into his Roth than Ethan had. This is the first and most impactful factor in building a multi-million-dollar retirement: time. The sooner you get started, the more time your money has to earn compounded interest. The third of the 3 friends, Joe, knew he wanted to have over $1 million in his Roth IRA by age 65. He mapped out what it would take to have over $1 million in his retirement and determined that with an average 7% return, if he maxed out his Roth IRA every single year until age 65, he could hit this goal. So Joe did just that. Even when he decided to make his first home purchase, he made himself save up the down payment without sacrificing his retirement contributions. From age 25 to 65, Joe, for 40 straight years, put $6,000 into his Roth IRA. Because of his intentionality, it was no surprise to Joe that when he retired at age 65, the portion of his retirement that was stashed away in his Roth IRA was now worth $1,312,406.70. Guys, this is insane. Compare Joe's results with his friends. He started 10 years earlier than Ethan, meaning he contributed $60,000 more, and was rewarded in return with over $700,000 more at age 65 than Ethan, and over $600,000 more than his friend Ben. Which leads me to the second key of long-term investing: discipline and consistency. Get started now and stick to it. If you don't already, take the time to set goals and make commitments to stick to those goals long-term. When you have a plan for what you need to do and you understand why you're doing it, it'll be much easier to prioritize it each year. Now, despite Joe's discipline and doing everything he knew, aside from just investing more money, he is still a far cry from the $100 million IRA of Mitt Romney, or even a multi-million-dollar IRA for that matter. Which leads me to the third and final factor in a massively successful IRA. You need an above-average rate of return. Is it possible that Mitt Romney saved his way to over $100 million? Maybe. He was savvy and knew a lot of loopholes for getting a lot of money in there, but I suspect a greater contributor to Mr. Romney's success was his ability to achieve a greater average return on his investment. There are a couple of ways that you can accomplish this for yourself within your Roth IRA. The first way is by setting up a self-directed IRA. For the entrepreneurs out there, this is a way to control the funds within your Roth IRA to invest in things like real estate, your own business, or even to be an early investor in others' businesses in return for equity. Or maybe you don't even want to get that fancy. Perhaps you've invested some time and money in yourself, and you're ready to do your own research and manage your own investment portfolio in order to realize that higher return. Or maybe you don't have any interest in any of that. You'd love the higher returns, but you have no interest in managing the underlying investments. In that case, maybe you've partnered with an advisor who you feel will be able to help you realize those outsized returns. For example, there are market-based strategies that I believe can outperform over the long run. I'll probably talk about them more in future videos, and they're definitely mentioned in my upcoming book. Regardless of your exact means, the point is that with some intentionality and maybe a little extra effort on your part, that is spending the time to improve your financial acumen, or finding a legit holistic planning firm with which to partner that has expertise in these areas, it's not crazy to think that you could realize a 14% average return over the long run. That is double that of the three friends. With these higher returns, you'll see an extreme difference in the amount of money you'll be able to accumulate for retirement. Joe, for example, the disciplined investor who got started while he was young, with that above average rate of return, let's say 14%, instead of his $1.3 million in retirement, it would now be worth more than $11 million. Yes, given those inputs, Joe would have an 8-figure Roth IRA. That's more than $10 million he could access tax-free in retirement. Of course, this should not be the only thing Joe relies upon for his retirement goals. It's important to be properly diversified and aware of any risks, which is something that we'll help you with here on this channel. However, when it comes to maximizing the benefit of your Roth IRA, because it has the potential to grow tax-free, this is where your investments with the highest potential for growth should be stored. And there we have it, all three: time, discipline, and rate of return. With the right combination, you can have an 8 or even 9-figure Roth IRA. As promised, I also want to include some numbers to show just how much you would need to save at both the 7% rate of return and 14% rate of return in order to hit exactly $1 million by age 65. Again, it's amazing how rate of return, time, and discipline can play such a large role in hitting your goals. It can be the difference between needing to contribute just $44.73 per month starting at age 25, where you can afford to take more risk for greater returns, and needing to contribute over $3,000 every month if you start at age 50 and need to settle for a lower return on investment in an effort to not risk your principal. So how crazy high would your annualized returns have to be after 40 years of contributions in order to realize a $100 million plus Roth IRA? It's actually probably not as high as you'd expect. A whopping 23% will get you more than there. I'm not saying that kind of return is easy, but it's pretty amazing to note how much of a difference every percentage point of additional return can make on your financial future. They say the best wisdom is often the most simple. I'm sure that a lot of the information in this video was not groundbreaking for you. I didn't expect it to be. And although we get extremely complex at times on this channel, I suspect it'll be people acting upon the simple things that I cover that will actually have the greatest impact for most. So what about you? What's your ambitious goal for your IRA, and how are you going to get there? And if you gained any value from this and appreciate the time that we took to put this resource together for you, I hope you'll hit that like button on your way down to comment. Definitely don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I really do appreciate you all and look forward to helping however I can. I wish you all the best. Take care.